CBS Sports decided they wanted to drop their top 16 2021 NFL coaches. I'm going to read you the list from 16 all the way down to 1. You've got Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores at number 16, Mike Zimmer, the Minnesota Vikings, number 15, Mike Vrabel, the Tennessee Titans at 14, Kevin Stefanski, Browns coach at 13, Colts, Frank Reich at 12, Kyle Shanahan, 49ers at 11, Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers at 10, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers at 9, Bruce Arians, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8, Pete Carroll, the Seattle Seahawks at number 7, Sean McVay, the Los Angeles Rams, at number 6, and Sean McDermott at number 5 for the Buffalo Bills, Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints at number 4, John Harbaugh, the Baltimore Ravens at number 3, and Bill Belichick for the New England Patriots at number 2. And at number 1, we have Andy Reid for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Why is Bill Belichick still number 2?
Where would you put him?
He definitely belongs in the top 10, but he didn't really have a good year coaching last season. So I don't know if I'll put him 2. John Harbaugh, what did the Ravens finish? Did they make the playoffs last year? I think John Harbaugh is.
I think that's a good spot for Harbaugh. Nah. It's a tie between. Well, it's interchangeable right now for me between Sean Payton and John Harbaugh. Honestly, because the Saints ended up winning. They won the division. The Baltimore Ravens, they were a wild card. They were a wild card. Second place, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Was it Steelers? Yeah,
it was the Browns, I think. Was it the man? I can't even remember who won the daggone division.
I think it was the Steelers. But not Bruce Arians. Sorry, Matt LaFleur. That's way too high for me. He needs to go down below the top 10. I think the Tennessee coach should be in the top 10. The way
Tennessee, so Vrabel, he's at number 14. So I agree with you. I think Vrabel should be in the top 10. You got to take Mike Tomlin out of the top 10.
Nah, stop. You always hate on Mike Tomlin, brother. Come on, man. Did you look up who won the division last year in the AFC North?
I'm looking it up right now. But Tomlin got to go.
Come on, man. Why y'all hate on, not y'all, you, why you hate on, I think he belongs at 10. He's fine at 10. Pete Carroll, do you still consider him a good coach? I mean, I do. His team has been consistently relevant for years, as far as he's been there. So I like him at 7. Bruce Arians,
Steelers.
Was it more Steelers? Thank you. Was it more of the team or was it more of the coach? Because you think they could have plugged any coach at Tampa Bay, or I don't think so.
Here's the thing with Tampa Bay. I respect Tampa Bay. Even when Tom Brady wasn't there last year, I felt like Bruce Arians did an excellent job with Jameis Winston. I just felt like they were a quarterback away from being an actual contender, and as you saw,
which ended up happening,
which you saw ended up happening. Tom Brady ended up taking to the Super Bowl and actually winning it. So I like Bruce Arians. I've always liked Bruce Arians. Even with his time with Arizona, I loved Bruce Arians. I wanted Bruce Arians in Miami, but that didn't end up happening. They decided to end up going with an unproven head coach. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me get back to you about Tomlin. To win that division, that division, that AFC, look, man, stop it. That AFC North is a tough division, bro. It's a tough division. To win that division, you got to give him love, man. Come on, man. I'm not saying he's the greatest coach ever, but he definitely belongs in the top 10.
They barely won it. They barely won it. They took their foot off. Took the foot off the gas.
They won though. They won. Come on,
they barely won it. They barely won it. And they started off. I think they were like 10-0 or something like that, and then they were just. I think they just ended up going on a slide. They was going on a serious slide at one point, and they just lucked out. They just ended up lucking out. To be honest with you.
No word on Sean McVay. You good with Sean McVay at 6?
Sean McVay. Sean McVay, I'll keep him at 6. Yeah, I'll keep him at 6, considering the fact that he made the playoffs. I'll keep him at 6. Sean McDermott, he got to get out of the top 5. I feel like that is a coach right there on the rise, but he doesn't need to be in the top 10. If anything, I will probably put Kyle Shanahan in the top 10 before I put Sean McDermott in the top 10.
So were you keeping Belichick? I would drop down Belichick. First of all, John Harbaugh, he doesn't belong in the top 5 either. So take him out and take Sean McDermott out.
Okay.
I'll put Belichick at 3 or 4. Sean McDermott, take him out and take John Harbaugh out too. He doesn't belong in the top 5. I think he belongs in the top 10, but not top 5. Well, I don't know. He might be outside the top 10 as well.
Okay, so real quick, out of respect, Belichick needs to be either number 2 or number 1. 6 championships.
Yeah, but this is based on what you did last season, or is this based on just overall?
I think it's overall, to be honest, because
if it's overall, come on, Belichick should be number 1.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, because Sean McDermott is your first time making the playoffs. Second time making the playoffs. Okay. Number 5, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You shouldn't be in the top 5. Like Kyle Shanahan.
Who's 12 again?
12 is Frank Wright. Frank Wright for the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. That's where Matt LaFleur should be. He shouldn't be in the top 10.
I think Matt LaFleur is just a product of the greatness of Aaron Rodgers at this point. So we're going to see what Matt LaFleur looks like without Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, Vrabel definitely in the top 10. If McDermott is there, Vrabel most definitely should be there. Zimmer, I feel like they just living in the Green Bay Packers shadow right now. I think after the decision is made for Aaron Rodgers, that division is going to be up for grabs between the Chicago Bears or the Minnesota Vikings, because I don't think the Green Bay Packers are going to be a very good team without Aaron Rodgers. So I feel like Zimmer is he's just suffering from the Michael Jordan syndrome, if you get what I'm saying. A lot of great players ain't getting no championship because Jordan is sitting in the league. But yeah, I feel like Zimmer at 15. Mike Vrabel at number 14. That's craziness. You didn't
say anything about Floyd, the Dolphins coach. I'm surprised you didn't say nothing about that yet. You think he belongs in that list? He's 16, right? He's number 16, right? Isn't he?
Yes, Brian Flores is number 16. Yes, that is correct.
Great spot, higher. What you think?
I'm trying to think of some head coaches off the top of my head that I think that's better than him, that's not on the list right now. So
not many.
Yeah, not many. Personally, I would put Ron Rivera over him for the Washington football team. If we're just going off a body of work, I put Ron Rivera in there before I put Flores on the list. Thinking about it, in the NFC West, only really so you have the Seattle Seahawks. That's Pete Carroll. Nope. Arizona Cardinals. No, I wouldn't put him over anybody on the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, really? John Gruden? Hell no. I wouldn't put John Gruden over him. Really? Yeah, 16 is fine.
What about the Denver coach?
No.
No.
The 16 is fine. I think like I said, the only issue that I would have is probably Ron Rivera off the top of my head right now. But yeah, I think at this point 16 is fine for Brian Flores right now. You are in a make or break season right now, my friend. You gotta make the playoffs, otherwise you're done.
Yeah. because you had a decent year last season, but you didn't make the playoffs, unfortunately. So if I think, unfortunately for him, if they don't make the playoffs, he'll probably, lose his job, which is, not good. But that's just the nature of sports. Like if you don't produce, you're not going to stay around.
Absolutely not. Now I will say, like
you don't think so?
I agree. I 1000% agree, because I remember when he ended up signing that long-term contract with the Dolphins. I believe it was a 5-year deal. Like just the response of the 5-year deal, like folks was like, okay, yes, he gets an opportunity to clean up the roster and then break it down and build it back up. In my head,
this is year 3?
This is year 3. So my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not a big fan of rebuilds. I'm more of the kind of guy like, okay, we are going to retool a couple things and then we're gonna get right back in the battle. That's my mindset.
What's a perfect example for that? And it's a different sport, but for example, when LeBron left the Heat did not rebuild and become nothing like the Cavaliers. They stayed relevant and just retooled and just stayed relevant and made the playoffs. And of course they didn't win another championship, but they didn't become irrelevant. So I get your point. Not rebuild, but retool, just tool up.
Yeah, and just tool up. Like, don't break the whole thing down, because your job is on the line. Like, you're not going to be staying for the whole 5 years. I just want people to know that. Like, it looks nice on paper, but if we don't see any progression in year 2, you out of you year 3, that seat is hot. that seat is hot. So my whole mindset right now with Flores is like, we going into year 3 right now. If you don't get, at this point, it don't really matter of how many wins you get. Well, actually, it does. If you don't get at least 10 wins and make the playoffs, you're done.
That's what I'm saying. Done. He has to make the playoffs. He has to make the playoffs. If he don't make the playoffs, then he might be another Dolphin coaching change. Another one.
Oh yeah, it'll be a tragedy. It will most definitely be a tragedy. And like I said, I'm not a fan of rebuilds. It comes down to just retooling and getting back into the battle, because that sets a coach up for failure, to be honest with you, because things may not end up working out the way that you wanted to work out. Luckily for the Dolphins, it somewhat did, even though there was some of the decisions that I was not exactly on board with.
Nah for the bay. Nah for the bay. Nah, we don't care what you said. Nah for the bay. Nah for the bay. Nah for the bay. Nah, we ain't hearing what you say. Nah for the bay. Fire!